Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is good with it. Anyway, hi, Opal. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How about you?
I'm good. Okay, it's your time to shine. You can say whatever. Your introduction in that case. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Opal. I am from Canada. I'm a native speaker. I am a mother and have a daughter, and I enjoy helping here.
Wow, that's a nice one. Thank you for every time like joining us and stuff.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Okay, so the last question of the last guest. Do you remember?
Actually, do.
Ah, what keeps you up at night?
Who will care for my daughter when I'm gone?
Really?
Yeah. My little girl, well, she's 16, but she's special needs. So she's not going to be growing old and getting married and all that stuff and being on her own. So I'm going to be the one taking care of her. So when I'm gone,
Okay.
I do wonder who's going to take care of her.
Actually, like when I hear this question first from our friend Honda, it was like, oh, like in anxiety in my it was my first answer. But in anxiety about what, as you said, yeah, someone we love, someone we
Yeah.
really care about. Well, that's a really good answer. Okay, your first question. Let's go.
My first question to you or your first question to me?
Whatever you. Okay, let's me start with you because it will be more more easy for me. Let's go. Um, you really like language, and like we have a really wonderful speak before about like the Korean language and why, but not everyone knowing this. But why did you choose Korean language to be your second
Oh,
language?
okay, so it's a bit of a story. So I was perusing Facebook and these little videos would show up and they were just a minute or two and they were interesting and they were subtitled. It was in a language I've never heard of. And I was really interested in watching them. And then so you would hear them talking, but you would see the subtitles so you knew what the stories were. Well, in one of these, the gentleman was actually speaking English, and he was not doing, in my opinion, a very good job. And I was getting really judgmental about this. Like, why would they let this actor actually speak English? He doesn't speak English very well. And then I got thinking about it. I'm thinking, that was really judgmental. I shouldn't have been saying that. Who the heck am I? I don't even speak two languages. I only speak one. And this guy's trying a second language. And then I kind of felt guilty about that. So then I kind of said, well, I should probably help people learn English if I'm going to be, that judgmental. Do something about it instead of just, thinking or talking about it. So I went online, did some Googling, found that there was Discord servers that would help. Got into one that was helping people learn English. Enjoyed my time there. And then as I'm listening to all these people learning English and they have all these other languages, I'm like, I should learn another language. And then I remembered how much I liked the sound of Korean. And it was, to me, when you hear it, it sounds like a song. It sounds like melody. And it was so beautiful. I said, that's the one I want to try. Little did I know it's like the hardest one to learn from learning English first.
Wow, actually, it's a really nice one. But what also changed you like to love the language more? Like we always have this, oh, I need to learn another language when we start and stuff. We sometimes we have this phase of hating the language itself or love the language. So which one was the first perspective or first impression for you to introduce to the Korean language?
I loved the language. To listen to it was beautiful. It is so beautiful to me, listening to it because when you hear an instrumental song, it's just the instruments. You don't hear words, so you're not trying to think about what the storyline is of the song or anything like that. You're just listening to the different sounds and how beautiful they sound together. Well, Korean is like that for me, and it just because at the ends of the song, most of the words it's amnida, and so you hear all these songs, and it just sounds like a song. It's just so beautiful. So my first impression was beautiful, and then when I learned all about it, I'm like, oh, that was just like the tip of an iceberg because this language is really hard to learn. It's a totally different way of speaking. Um, eh, so I started off with, oh, it's so beautiful. Then I realized, oh, it's so hard.
Yeah, I think every language like that, you know. Wow. Okay. Now your
My
time to
turn.
shine.
My turn. Your
Yep.
turn to shine. Okay. Tell me how you got involved with this Discord server.
mm, I will say long story short. I would say I was learning by myself most of the time. Like self learning is my specialty back then. I don't know what's happening now, but anyway, One of my was joining Discord a lot and stuff, and he recommended me the server, and I started to join. I like I like the vibes actually. Like everyone is helping everyone in a different way. Until what dragged me to continue in this server actually was the first impression of someone actually changing his life. As an example, someone entered an interview, he got accepted, and come tell us the joy in everyone like voice was like, oh, it's really good. I want to continue like to deal with this. So just one thing that happened and lead to another, and yeah,
Nice.
wow, I become an admin
Yeah.
out of nowhere. Wow, nice. Oh, uh, you said before you like history, or you studied history, right?
I know some history.
You know some history. Okay. Mm, what is the history do you like, or the history era do you like most in that case?
Um, I like the really ancient stuff, the super old stuff, how they got from, rocks and sticks to getting into the Iron Age and the Bronze Age, and just the evolution of humans in general is to me so amazing. I like, yeah, how people, like I said, you go from nothing to something, you go from disorganized to organized. It's just amazing to me how we as a people have, come so far. Now we're flying in the air and we're looking, we've traveled to the moon. I don't know, it's just amazing to me.
Do you learn anything from the history? We always learn, right?
Yeah, you learn from history. You learn what works and what doesn't work, who your friends are, who your enemies are, who to trust, who not to trust.
Yeah. Well, okay. If you will, that's a good question. If you will be a queen or in one of the eras, which era, and how you will deal with your people in that era?
I am not really a queen type of person. I might have been a consultant, shall we say, behind the scenes. I'm not much of a leader. I'll lead if no one else is, just because you need somebody to do the work and then step aside when somebody, takes the reins. But uh which era would I like to be? Not now. Um I don't know. I don't think there's a whole like there a good one to be in. I don't think there was ever. I mean, each one has its good points and bad points. So I don't think there's one I would want to go back to. I like being where I am now. I like the technology that we have now. But again, I don't have to be bossy or be, in charge of anything or anyone. So I'm happy with where I am right now.
So, uh, actually, I agree with you. Like, you will be a consultant and more than interesting.
My turn.
Mm, yeah, your turn. Actually, yeah, go for it.
What brings you joy?
Seeing hard work finally like rewarded by something, or seeing a joy of someone that needed help and he get it and it changed his life.
A
And there is a
happy,
lot, but
a happy ever
after
after.
happy ever after. You know that every end, the ending of the story never would be happily, but yeah, sometimes it will be, and I hope it will. I hope.
Good, good.
Okay, from helping others, let's go because you're actually helping a lot of people. Okay, do you think helping other will affect you in the future, or just like it's just a phase, and you will continue in this phase on like, after some time?
I think helping people connects you with people and it helps you with different perspectives. And I think the more different perspectives you have on life, the better decisions you make on life, the better way you can connect with other people. Having an experience with one person may reflect or change how you would have an it would help you with another person, an experience with them because of the previous experiences you have. I think helping people brings joy to your life. I think it gives you that I'm a good person feeling. I think everybody needs that in life. I think just to reinforce the fact that, you're living, you're breathing, and you are able to help somebody else in life. I think that is something that does bring me joy. Um, yeah.
Okay. follow-up question. So you are helping and stuff. So you found some mistakes, or let's say it in general in your life. What mistakes would you advise everyone to not to do, as you are trying to advise people? Okay.
Okay, my one regret in life is that I chose love over a university degree. So I dropped out of university because I was in love and we were going to live together forever and be happy and happily ever after. Yeah, okay. You can fall in love with anybody and anybody can fall in love with you, but it's not always a good time to get your university degrees. So get your education first and then fall in love. And don't let if somebody loves you enough, they'll let you finish your degree. If they love you, they'll let you finish your education. They won't just, you know, say love me, leave all that, and come, be with me. So that was my one regret is I dropped out of school.
Wow. Okay, okay. Like, so you choose education over love.
If I had a do over, I would, yes, because love
Mm.
if the guy really loves you, the person loves you, they're not going to make you quit something that's going to help your life for the rest of your life. Education helps the whole life. Love is
Yep.
nice, don't get me wrong, but education can only usually only happens during a certain part of your life, and then you have to go get a job, and you have to adult the rest of your life. So it plays such a huge part in your life. I think if I had finished school, yes, my life would have been a little differently. I would have had a different kind of job. I don't regret the jobs I have had. I'm very lucky with what I have had, but I would have gotten a lot further in life if I had been able to finish my education.
Mm.
My turn.
Okay, you. Yeah, yeah, go ask a question. I will continue, but like after your question.
Tell me something I don't know about you.
What do you don't know? This is my question. Okay. Something you don't know about me. Something you don't know about me. Oh yeah, I don't know if I maybe you don't know this about me, but like in real life, I'm actually straightforward so much that like actually maybe it will be rude in some situations.
You're straightforward.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have phases in our life. Okay, in our life. So in your life, tell me three phases in your life, and do you like them or you regret them, or maybe you have something to add on them.
Three. Did I hear you correctly? Three fears.
Phases, phases.
Fears, as in things that scare you.
No, no, phases are like steps or stages in the life.
Oh,
Like
stages
as
in
an
life.
example,
Okay.
yeah, like, as an example, while we are kids, we have like a different perspective in our life. But at the same time, we learn something. So we go, oh, we'll go up and us and like up a phase in that case. And being a teenager and stuff, you're learning something and go for it. So, which three stages in your life you really like,
Three
or
stages in my
like
life that
can say,
I liked being a kid. I loved being a kid. When I was a kid, it was way before the internet. It was before cell phones. It was before all those things, and life was you get up, on a summer morning, and you went outside, and you had to come home before the streetlights went on. You went over to your friend's house, and you were playing in the front, lawns, and you were playing red light, green light. You were playing all these games with each other. You were, talking about, who's got the bubbles, who gets to do, whose pool are we gonna swim in this afternoon. It was just the best thing. There wasn't any lot of worries in life. You didn't worry about jobs. You didn't worry about your own kids. You didn't worry about all the things that you do in adulthood. It was just a fun, happy time. So I loved being a kid. The second phase that I liked, having my kid. Being a mom is the most
mm,
best thing in the world. I love being a mom. I love, finding things for her to do. I love finding new things we can do together. I love surprising her. I love seeing her happy. I love hearing her giggle. I love being a parent. It was like the best thing in the life. The third, well, okay, so I'm in my 50s. And I had a husband, and he passed away. And the phase after that, after the grief, after the sorrow, all that stuff, was rediscovering myself. So later phase of life. So I had to rediscover what hobbies do I like? What else? How else can I entertain myself? Because the kid's doing her own thing eventually and stuff like that. And I've got to figure out what else to do. What do I like? What don't I like? I've been a mom for so long. I've been worrying about, a husband and what he needs. I've been worrying about, being a mom and what she needs. The last person whose needs I ever really considered, because I, was my own. So that last phase of rediscovering who I am, what makes me happy, what interests me, that's been fun to discover too.
Okay, good one. Your time to shine.
Okay, so
Mhm.
here's a question for you.
Go for it.
What is something you would regret if you didn't get to do it in your life?
Okay, right now, like it's having this question of whether I marry or not. But I feel like if I am in my 70s, maybe I will regret, yeah. Like I didn't marry. But it will be just like because, oh yeah, I didn't have someone with me at the time. If I will be 70 in that case. But it's just this idea in my head right now.
Fair enough. Okay.
Wow. Yeah. Mm, okay, this one is interesting. Uh, do you think we as humans, we born evil?
Are we born evil?
Yep.
No, we're not born anything. We're just born. And I think evil is again a perspective.
Mm.
When you look at history, right? And there's these wars. Well, what started the war? Somebody had something the other person wanted or they needed. Okay, need and want are two different things. One group got fresh water on their area and the other person doesn't have any fresh water. They need it. They're going to die. They do they got to do to get it. If you win that war, then you're the hero. If you lost that war, then the person
Or
who did it to you is now evil because they killed your family or they took your water. It's perspective. Um,
interesting.
so yeah, I
So,
don't think anybody's born evil.
mm, but maybe the evil around us changed us to be evil. In that
Uh,
case, maybe
Conditions,
the winner
maybe
himself.
conditions or factors in your life
Yeah.
might play a part in that. Yeah, I mean, unless you
Yes.
have mental issues, like you are a psychopath or you are, a serial murderer or whatever. That stuff is individual and not always the case, but there are exceptions to every rule, right? But for the most part, I don't think you're born evil. I think things happen to you that will affect how you are.
Okay.
Okay. Is it
Yeah.
better to be the center of attention in your life or to blend in to the background of life and why?
Can I choose a third one? Blend in and observe. That is what I like actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Center of to be a center in someone in everyone's life. It will like I feel hold a responsibility.
How about just in your life?
Hmm?
Just in your life.
Just in my life. Not everyone in life. Okay, wait. Like your
Okay.
question is like, oh, to be a hero or to be
No,
a
I said,
normal. Like,
is it is it better to be the center of the attention in your life or to blend into the background of life? And if so, why?
I feel like it's more in the situation, you know. Put me in a situation, and I will see like, oh, should I blend in or should I be the hero? It depending mostly in the situation. Like if someone need help in the street, no, I will go for like to lend a hand and stuff like that. If as an example, yeah, if someone like really happy about his success and sharing and stuff, I would blend in with people and telling the same thing that they say sometimes, like, yeah, God be with you and stuff like that.
Okay.
So actually, it's a situational thing for me.
That's fair. That's fair.
How about you? Can you be the hero?
As I get older, I think the answer
Mm,
is yes. I think you should be because you only have one life to live. You don't want to regret, having sat in the back seat and doing nothing or, speaking up for yourself or bettering your life or, trying out that silly thing you thought you shouldn't do and all of a sudden you find out you're amazing at it and it's giving you so much joy, but you'd never would have known it if you sat back and you didn't, step up.
Okay, that's bring me a really good question. And okay, what area if of your life you still need a good advice on?
Let's see. I look at my house and I'm like, I need help with organizing. I need help with organizing. I do. I try so hard. Sometimes I sit up at night going, okay, this is a mess. How do I fix it? And then I try to figure out some way to fix it. And sometimes I just fall asleep and forget the answer to that question. Or sometimes I do end up with a good answer. But it takes so long for me to do such a thing. So yeah, organizing is hard for me. My turn.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite role to play? Would you rather be a son, a brother, a father, an uncle, or a grandfather? And if so, why? Which hat would you like to wear the most?
I, when you said it in this way, I feel like I will have the whole phases. But until now, I didn't try the whole phases, so I don't know which one I like. So I will just assume. Uh, I don't want actually to be any of this, but I must to be a friend. I will choose to be a friend. In it. You said a friend or a son?
I
What?
said a son, a brother, a
Son?
father, an uncle, or a grandfather, and why?
Mm, I will choose an uncle because uncle is mostly like a friend, and I think.
Okay, so you like the friendship area. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. This question, middle age crisis. What do you know about it? And did it happen to you before, or like, oh no, just like missed it, or what happened?
Midlife crisis, we're talking about?
Mid age crisis, yeah, middle age crisis.
Okay. I was too busy to have a middle age crisis.
Middle age.
Yeah, but like after the husband passed, that whole rediscovery of myself. I think that's a little bit of that midlife
Mm,
crisis kind of situation where I think a midlife crisis is usually, you realize half of your life is gone and you're on the second half, and now you can't. You might regret things, or you haven't finished doing things, or you haven't done stuff you really wanted to, and now you're kind of in a panic because you only have so much time to do stuff, and you're kind of panicking about it. For me, it wasn't so much a panic, but oh, how do I do this now? Or, oh, can I do that now? Or do I still want to do that? It was more of one of those kind of, the crisis was more like, where am I? Or who am I? Or how do I become who I really am? And how to find that.
I feel like it's more about like, oh, the person himself is having an anxiety of, did I choose the right one? This my whole like as an example, I already reached like 40 years old and everything is good and I have my wife, kids, good job and everything, but I have this regret in my life. Oh, I didn't marry the person I love. I married a person from one of like my family members. Like he commended this person, so I married him and stuff like here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What I love, I
FOMO,
didn't
fear
do.
of fear of fear of missing out. Your
Yeah,
fear.
fear of
Yeah.
missing out. Yeah, yeah. I feel it's more like fear of missing out. This crisis happening. Oh, I didn't take this one. Or oh, I really like to be a dancer as an example, but because of life, I didn't be a dancer. So should I now change to be a dancer? Oh, this
Yeah.
this
I
is
think
all
that's
about
that's your
changing.
midlife crisis. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't. Like I said, I was a little busy, so I didn't get to do that. But I, like I said, when everything passed, when he passed, and everything kind of calmed down, and it was just me trying to figure out who me was. It was a bit of a crisis. I mean, it was like, okay, how do I figure this out? So you read some health, like self-help books, and you start looking at, go out and look at your friends and what are they doing, and what kind of hobbies are they in participating in, and do you really want to get into it? So that kind of thing kind of happened with me. So I had to like rediscover who I was.
Mm, okay.
My turn.
Nice. Your turn.
Oh, wait a minute. No. Yeah, it is. What would be the greatest experience to live through?
Like how?
You can take that any way you want to. It could be an age that you thought was an amazing time to be in, or it could just be something that happens in regular life that you can't wait to experience. It's a pretty open question.
Say it again, please.
What would be the greatest experience to live through?
I would say raising up my kids, like to see them grow, uh, see what will happen to them. It's also like would be the greatest thing to see. Yeah.
It's a good answer. Good answer.
Okay. This question is like backing up to your story. So you said before that love can come later after we have education or money or whatever. Why? Can like maybe love can come with them, not later on. What do you think?
Love can do what?
The love can come with them, like along with like while you are studying, while we are having our jobs and having money.
It can. Um,
Yeah.
i- it's when it takes place instead of. That is the problem. That is the regret.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't pick.
Okay.
I didn't pick a good partner. So we make bad decisions sometimes in life. That was one of mine. But
I understand.
I corrected it later on in life. So that was good. But yeah, so I think that it's possible. Um, but I don't think you can do love and do school and do both exceedingly well. I do not think you can do both at the same time well. It's kind of like you have to pick one over the other to a degree. If you truly want to love somebody, then you're not studying as hard as you possibly could be. And if you're studying as hard as you could be, you possibly aren't spending enough time with the person you love. So there's going to be regret in either way. If you can postpone one for the other, hopefully you're getting your education first and then falling in love second. I think that is the optimal way to do it. Doesn't mean it can't be done other ways. It doesn't mean it can't be successful other ways. It just means, for me, that would be what I would assume or would assume would be the best way to do it.
You can ask me a question. I have a follow-up question after.
What are you most grateful for in your life?
I'm still alive. I'm grateful about this every day.
Okay.
Mm. Okay. Follow-up question. It's like I will put a scenario in you. Like you have a son, and he want to marry this wonderful woman or whatever, and you like it her and stuff. But he's still in college. Would you agree on like okay, like you will marry her and continue your college, or no, you will not marry her until you finish your college and find a job and this, or what's your plan for your son and that?
So in my culture, what the parent thinks is very little value in the person's son's life, just to be honest with you. But if I had any
Okay.
influence at all, I would ask very nicely to please finish school, please get a job. If you are still together, bonus so that you can marry this person. But if the person can't handle you going through school and then getting a job, then that wasn't a really good relationship to begin with. It kind of proof is in the pudding kind of thing there.
So the partner need to sacrifice some of his time to be with the good partner at the end of the day.
I think you should finish your school and get a good job and then look at your love life
Okay.
afterwards. Yes, that's what I think. Will people always do that? No. Do I have any
Mm.
say? No. You're asking my opinion. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, your time to shine.
I just asked that question.
You just asked that question. Okay, let me ask another question. Okay, it's about your will. Okay, what value does your will have if money is enough? Is your will for sale?
My will?
Yep.
Is my will for sale?
Mm.
I don't understand the question.
Yeah. Okay. Let me bring it in a different way then. Your determination and your desire. Okay.
Okay.
Is it for sale? Can anyone vote your determination for his company as an example? Like, oh, you have really a good ethics in work and everything. I will vote you. Not. I will vote your time and stuff like that for this amount of money. So it's your desire for this, for the money itself, or for the job, or for whatever, will make you sell your will, or maybe you have another desire. As an example, make your own company. Go for it. But some people will tell you, okay, I will want to buy your desire, your determination to just be as you are.
Okay, so that's a bit of a loaded question. So
Yeah.
you have to understand my situation. So my situation is I'm a widow, I'm single, and I have a daughter who's autistic who will be dependent on me all her life. So when it comes to money, the money is not for me to go buy a Lamborghini. The money is to put into investments and whatnot so that when I am gone, she now has a life worth living that she can do whatever she wants to with. So if someone said, "Hey, I will give you X number of dollars, and as long as what they're asking me to do is, short term and not illegal," there's a good consideration depending on how much it is and how much that's going to change my kid's life in the future.
So you're seeing it like in the bigger picture. Oh, what will affect my child? Will affect me and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Mm. Nice, really nice one.
Do you subscribe to the notion that you can create your own happiness?
Do I subscribe for a notion that I can make my own happiness?
Yeah, can you create your own happiness?
Mm, I can. I feel everyone can, but it's need a little bit determination at the end. But what kind of happiness? This is my question to you.
Happiness is happiness. It puts a smile on your face and you keep wanting to do it.
Yeah, but okay, there is types of happiness. Like a little joy, just a moment, and that's it. We finish. A happiness will bring you. Oh yeah, I can continue this day because of I am happy because of this certain amount of what happened today, and that's it.
Okay, let's just give it as an event that happens in a day.
A day, a good word, and then the morning I think will make the day go on. Like someone said a good word, it will make the world. Oh yeah, it's a good day today. Like if you believe it will be a good day, it will be a good day. If it's something happened in the morning or while you wake up, oh, it's really bad, the whole day will be bad. I don't know why, but it's scientifically proved in that case. So many situations
Okay.
happen.
Okay.
You have experience. So let's take some from you in that case. What's your perspective of new marriage? And if you can give an advice for the new couples and stuff, because nowadays people divorced a lot. Tell us.
Yep.
I will. Yeah.
Yep. I've got two divorces under my belt and a widowhood. So yeah, I can speak on this.
Yeah.
Before you decide to marry anybody, make sure you've gone through all of your traumas and all of your healing to do first. You don't want to bring past trauma and what's the word unhealed trauma to a marriage. If you haven't healed yourself up, if you haven't gone through, all the self-help stuff to become the best person you can be before you get into a marriage, it's going to be 10 times harder to do it in a marriage. I think marriage counseling, I don't care what faith you're in, is important. You need to find out where this person's values and morals are and where yours are. How do you feel about, what happens if, the husband loses his job? What are you going to do? What happens if the woman loses her job? If you can't, if you get married, you're expecting to have kids, and all of a sudden you can't have kids. You need to know what's going to happen in those situations, how this person's going to react. So finding out how people, what their beliefs are before they get into the marriage. You don't want to get into a marriage and then realize, oh, this person it doesn't believe in this, that, and the other, or oh, this person always thinks this, that, or you need to know the person before you marry them, I think, and yourself. So
Okay.
as we say, kick the tires before you buy the car.
Kick the tires. Yeah. See. Nice. Okay.
Okay, my turn.
Mm.
Um, if you could grant one wish to someone else, who would it be, and what would that wish be?
One person only.
Yep, one person only, one wish.
I don't have anyone in mind, but I will choose randomly. Wait. Okay. It will be. Most people want to be rich, so I will say the rich one. He will to be rich in a very soon thingy, because I know they will handle their money well. I believe. Who will be? Meeny, miny, miny, mo. Let's say Sabio, maybe. Let's come to one. He's a person here, female. Female. Oh, is okay. Do you think humans should be positive all the time,
We should be what?
or what? Positive, like, oh, we need to be positive all the time,
Oh, positive.
or we need, or we need to like to be cautious all the time, or what phase we need to be mostly in our day or in our life?
Well, you can't have roses without rain. That's a saying we have. I think in order to really appreciate all the good stuff in your life, and to
Okay.
remain positive, you have to have some bad days. Do I wish bad days on people? No. But in order to appreciate how good your life is, something dumb, something stupid, something horrible, something sad has to happen in it in order for some people to really see how good they do have it.
Mm.
I think that's why a lot of times when somebody in your family passes away, you then realize how short life is, and then you become so much more grateful. Sometimes you become resentful, depending on your personality. I think a personality change happens when somebody close to you passes on. It could be for the good, it could be for the better, it could be for the worse. But I think when you realize that, that's when something bad happens like that in your life, it changes it. And depending on how you are, you will see the positives in life because you've gone through the bad, or because of other situations in your life, maybe you see how worse life is now.
It's like actually you said it before. To be happy, you need to be sad. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like to love, you need to hate. Like it's a phase like, oh, how to know that you love this person without first encountering, oh, you hate another person before, or in reverse. And wow, having so many meanings. Please go for your
your question, sir, is
hmm,
how would you define a life worth living?
a life worth living. My life right now, like I believe, life worth living. Yeah, every life is worth living in my perspective. Even if it's bad, really bad, it's your life. It's one time. You can't change it, I believe, but you can change the daily events you have. You can change your path. So like, we have so many to choose from. Like, if you want to be poor tomorrow, you can. If you want to be rich, you can, but you'll work so hard for it. Everything will be around you. So life in general is really precious. We need to admire it in bigger perspective.
Okay, but what makes it worth living? What do you think makes your life worth living right now? I'll
Wow.
tell you what I think.
Tell me. I really don't know.
In the first part of this interview, we talked about why you got involved, and one of the things you mentioned was how you could help somebody's life. It changed somebody's life for the better. And then when I talked about wishes, you're wishing somebody a better life. I think
That's interesting.
your life is worth living because you like to help people. You like to see them have a better life than what they have right now. And you do that by being part of this community.
Nice. You you observing like from outside. It's really interesting. Actually.
That's the kind of person I see you as.
Thank you. Actually, I will take it as a compliment. It's a deep question with a deep statement or a deep paragraph or whatever. A coin with two sides. A coin have two sides. A sword have two edges. A truth have two faces. So, what type of truth you are seeking for?
What kind of truth am I looking for in life?
Yeah.
I've always believed that there's always, two sides to a story, plus then there's the truth in the middle somewhere.
Hmm.
I think that your perspective does blind you to the full truth of something. You see your way. The other person who you might have had a disagreement with, or whoever the other side of this truth is, has their way of seeing it. And somewhere in between is what really happened. And if you can remember that, instead of just being angry at somebody who doesn't, see your point of view, you could try to see their point of view and see where in what you're missing, what part of the truth you don't see because of, their perspective. So that's what I think.
You have a question?
Actually, I've run out of questions.
Ah. Okay. I have so many yet, so
Sure, you can keep
maybe.
asking. Then I'll think of
Okay.
questions as we talk.
Yeah, go for it. It's okay. The spontaneous thing is always. Actually, I bring a question from your questions. Like when you asking me a question, oh, I need to ask this question again. My questions will never finish because okay. Anyway, let's start with. Did you ever have a free frenemy in your life?
Did I have a ever free what?
Frenemies. Frenemies is someone is friend like to
A
you.
frenemy.
Like
Oh,
actually,
okay, a
he is an
frenemy.
enemy from you. That frenemy. Sorry,
No,
frenemy.
I honestly have never had a frenemy. How about you?
How Mm, actually don't. I think yeah, it happened to me a couple of times, but it was something like, oh no, I need to learn this. It's
Okay.
something from like to engage with. So, in my like in your perspective, how will we do it? Like, do we know them and we deal with them?
A frenemy?
Mm.
I've had it where I've gotten off on the wrong foot with somebody, and like I like playing
Okay.
computer games, and I've had it where in a computer game somebody was, trolling me or something. They did something that was, not so nice. And when I confronted them and then found out, I asked more questions than just, instead of calling a person a name and leaving, I asked questions. Why did you do this? What was going on? All these things. In the end, I end up turning this person into a friend. I've had that happen quite a few times in life, mostly in computer games. But yeah, somebody's trolling you or whatever and killing your mobs or whatever, and you ask questions, and maybe they're having a bad day, and so you say, "Oh, here, come over here. I'll get you some better gear, whatever," and you turn an enemy into a friend. I like that when that happens. That's happened a couple of times to me.
Now let's bring it up. The games. Actually, when I know that you are a gamer and you're old one in that case, what games did you like? Did you really like? And what every game maybe changes something in your perspective or something. Tell me how games changed you.
Okay, so one of the very first online game I ever played was called Ultima Online, and that was back in 1999, before everybody who ever listens to this was born. um,
You're trusting everyone.
yeah,
Okay.
everybody. And so we were on dial-up. The servers had to restart every morning for everybody to play on them. They would crash. You sometimes you couldn't get on because there was too many people on the server you're trying to get on. This was the very first of the online games. And in that game itself, I met my husband. So that before there was online dating, I had met a. We were playing in the same guild. In the game, you could have people who could sell things in your shop. So he wanted to set up a vendor because I had a really good spot in the game to do that with. We ended up chit-chatting. We found out we are from the same country. We're in the same province even. We were like 8 hours away. Um, we would talk all night some days, and it was just we just clicked. And so he came down to visit to my city, and then I went to visit his city, and then we ended up getting together, and I moved to his city forever, and we got married. We had a kid. We had a life. So yeah, that's what happened. So games changed me that way. And then when he passed, what happened was his best friend and him were on the same Discord server, and they would play with a bunch of other people to play different games. And so when the husband passed, I didn't have a whole lot to do with my life at that point. I was kind of grieving and looking for things to do. And this group kind of adopted me, right? I inherited them. I inherited them from my husband. And so they always played online survival games, so you find a place to put up a base, you kill mobs, you get gold and all that stuff. And as usual games, you work up your skills. And so each of us kind of took up part of the group. So like one of us always liked making the bases. So one person would make the base, the other people, some of them like to advance the quests and explore the whole area that we're in. Some people always like being the leather worker or the armor smith maker. My job usually was making sure everybody had band-aids and potions and food. So we all played our part, and we've gotten along the last 5 years. We've done that, and every once in a while somebody new comes in, and we just add to our group. It's not very big, but we have a good time. So I like
So I
games
like.
in that it brings people together. Not everybody you meet is going to be, a perfect friend, but they can always be a perfect internet friend. I say, you spend time with them when you want to play a game. You play your parts, and you have a good time.
Because you don't. I believe if we know people like just a couple of minutes a day, they will be really good friends. But we know them more and more, like hours spending together and stuff. You will know more details about them. Oh no, maybe this person is bad. I don't want to be with. Even in your first perspective, it's just a person. Is that correct?
I agree with that. The longer you
Yeah.
spend time either on a server, Discord, just playing a game with them, you become in a way like a friend. But I mean, the people you meet on, I mean, like you and I, chances of us meeting each other is kind of slim. But once a week, we can chit chat with each other, on a server. And isn't that a cool thing? I mean, because that wasn't even a possibility way back when, growing up. The idea that I have never met you in real life. I don't even know what you look like, and you don't even know what I look like. But
Yeah.
we have this chit chat together. We're cordial and we're friendly together. We are probably on the server doing the same thing, trying to help people learn English and, get a better life. I think that is so cool, it's just an amazing thing that can happen now, but it wasn't possible back then. So,
Yeah, actually, we think about it like the connections or the internet make the world like a little village. Everyone can speak with everyone. And it's
yeah,
actually fascinating, yeah.
I think it also, in a way, it helps. What's the word I'm looking for? It brings people together in that, you might think, oh, I don't like this group of people. Whatever, and they can be whatever. They could be a culture, it could be a language, it could be a gender, it could be one of those, sexual orientation, whatever. It could be anything. I don't like those people. I don't like them. Well, then you start playing, you're on these online games, and maybe you got this great shooter that you just met, and you end up striking up a conversation, and you end up being best buds. And then, 10 months down the line, you find out that person is from that group you thought you hated. Now, all of a sudden, you have to look at your perspective now and realize, oh, I guess I don't always hate all those people because I now have a new friend who's in that group. And so it kind of tears down those walls sometimes unexpectedly. I think that's what the internet can do.
Breaking up the ice. Okay, I would have the same situation with you, but in a different way. Like there is this group of people where like it was really great and stuff, but in reverse, they choose like you spend more time, you find oh they are really bad people. You need to like have your step back just to see what happened and stuff. I will feel like it's sometimes in reverse also. Like oh yeah, they showing you hospitality, everything is good, but when you go on and like know everyone, oh Maybe it's something you need to run away from.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm. So perspective.
Yeah,
Hmm.
again, it's perspective. You might say, "Oh, I didn't realize that these people are like this." And then maybe you're like, "Okay, well, they are. That's the way they are. Are they going to affect me or not?" And if you say no, can you still work, within the game that you're playing with whatever? If you can say yes, then if you don't have to get rid of them, you don't, or you just accept the limitations that this person you've placed on this person's friendship with you. That could be something too. You could try to make, as we say, lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah. How do you deal with stress?
How do I deal with stress in general?
Yep.
A couple ways. Whenever I have to do something I don't want to forget, I write it down. And if something can't be fixed or solved, I go play a game so I don't have to think about it. Sometimes I use games as a distraction to, settle myself down. And maybe while I'm doing that, I'm maybe quietly without or subconsciously thinking about a solution to that problem that's stressing me out. Sometimes that can happen too.
Okay.
How about you? How do you deal with stress?
Change my place. If I have a stress in this particular place, I will like to move to another place. Reading something like maybe will calm me sometimes, or watching a meme, like a video or something, like
Okay.
something to drag me away from the thought itself, and then come back again, like to deal with it. Like I can't run away from ever for it forever, but I can get some distraction to figure out the solution. Because
Yep.
sometimes when we are in the middle of the point itself, we can't get any answer. So we need to cool down, come back again.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, this one is about your shows. What did you ever watch something that made you change your perspective about something uh, in your TV programs or anything?
I'm going to assume you're talking about the K dramas and the Asian dramas in general that I like to watch.
And Canadian drama too, whatever. Like
Yeah,
maybe you
yeah.
watch them.
Well, I found out that I'm a very conservative person in that I prefer shows where, the romantic leads, maybe they kiss. That's great. Maybe they're in bed fully dressed and they kiss and they put their hands together in a grip and then it fades to black. I don't want to see everything. And that's what Western TV shows are like mostly. And I'm finding myself now when I'm watching I'm interested in the storyline, but when they get to the bedroom scenes, I'm like fast forwarding through them now. I'm like, you're such a prude now. What happened? But yeah, I much rather I like I call it the PG versions of shows now that the Asian cultures TV shows are like they just fade to black and then the next day they wake up like nothing, you don't see anything, and I like it that way. I think there should be some privacy and you don't have to know everything. So I think that's changed my perspective on stuff a lot too. I think learning about how a culture sees itself is interesting too. Like not specifically what this like well the storylines matter too, but I mean a lot of the Asian storylines I'm watching is some version of really nice family. The mother and the father get along great, and they have a child maybe, and then the husband one day at work starts there's a new lady at work, a secretary, and they start flirting and they have an affair, and then his whole life goes to shit. Sorry, but he does. And his wife divorces him. He can't see his kid. He finds out that the mistress he wanted to be with, is using him too. So she drops him, and his whole life ends up becoming a big zero. And even though that's an
Oh,
interesting story, I think the reason they do that is to show in and don't forget most Chinese um, TV shows have to go through their censoring ship, right? So the
okay.
Chinese government has to approve it too. And I think what happens here is that they're showing that stay with your wife. It's much better off. Life's gonna suck if you divorce. I think that's what they're trying to say in their perspective. In a way, we're showing you how bad life is if you get divorced. So stay together.
I would say interesting, yes, but like this is not life. This is drama life in a nutshell. What's happening?
Yeah, but people sometimes, but I think the idea here is to infer, if we show you enough
Yeah.
shows where the husband goes and has a mistress and then his life is ruined, and the wife ends up becoming much better. And oh yeah, she always ends up marrying the CEO of some billionaire corporation. So I think the idea here, first off, I think there's two funny story messages being passed by. It's men, don't leave your women, don't leave your wives because you will ruin your life. And the other one is women, if your guy does leave you, the next guy's going to be so much better.
Wow.
It's funny, but yeah, I kind of like watching, trying to get the higher level. Like, why are they allowing this show? What are they trying to show in this show? What morals or what perspectives are they trying to get the demographics who's watching this show? What are they trying to say to them? You know what I'm saying? What's the underlying message? So that's my takeaway.
You're watching it in a different perspective, as I said, yeah. So much.
Well, you watch enough of them, you're like, another one? And then you realize, oh, well, if every single time the guy has an affair, it doesn't end well. Maybe this is what they're trying to tell, the Asian population who's watching these shows. Don't do it. And for the women, it's if they do it, then guess what? You get a better guy at the end.
Okay, I
Don't lose
understand,
hope.
but I would say something on this.
Sure.
If you always like watch something really like, oh, divorce, cheating and stuff, as an example, as someone like will marry soon, or like a teenager, oh, everyone is cheating, so my next love life will be also a cheater and stuff, so I will not marry and stuff. Like pointing out stuff out of the like in the shows and stuff, it's good, but actually it's bad in the long term. In the like someone view it in a different way. They need
It's
also to show
possible.
the good stuff. I believe like you
True.
at least for like when I heard you, they need to show the good stuff only, like some good stuff.
Here's the problem with that, and this is what
Hmm.
I've learned too, is that nice shows don't sell. I'll give you some examples. Okay, so
Okay.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter is pretty, is a pretty easy watch. Anybody can watch it. It's not too crazy, right? But in order for that show to have any adventure, those kids have to break the rules. And they do. They break the rules over and over again. Don't go here, they go there. Don't touch this, they touch that. In order for a TV show, a movie, a story, any type of thing, there has to be a disruption. There has to be something that messes things up, and then the story about fixing it and getting back on the right track ends up being the happily ever after ending. So any show, there has to be something that is in the way, is blocking, is a trap, is somebody committed a crime, and now we have to prove they didn't do it or they did do it, and how do we fix the problem now? Like, in order for a TV show to have an audience, it has to have something bad happen. And so I think they're doing two things. They're showing that if the guy does cheat, first off, you get better. If the guy cheats, the guy isn't going to get better, and that you shouldn't do it, and that you're a coward if you do, which is all the kind of the lines that you hear about at the end of this thing, when you watch these shows. Um, and I don't think anybody watches as many shows as I do because I'm crazy when I watch these things. I enjoy the funniness and the nuances in them, and even the different cultural things. About celebrating of the Lunar New Year. All the different the festival, the lantern festivals, and all the different cultural differences. And you don't give gifts, you give packets of money, and why, and all that stuff. And then there's historical fantasies, and how do those come about? And what are all the different dynasties, and why do they all bow differently? Because that happens too. But all these questions pop up, and it's so much fun to acknowledge the fact that you've seen them enough that you're asking these questions, and then how do you and what the answer is, that's almost more interesting too. So
What do you think about the people that you hate? Can you love them again? Can you give them another chance?
um I think in a different person, I think may not be a full oh, how do I explain this? I think if somebody purposely hurts you or unintentionally hurts you, and they're not remorseful, they're not regretful on it, they don't want to apologize about it, or they have no clue they did it, eventually you can forgive them on a higher range, but not like on a deep personal range to me. I think you can, like, in general, say, okay, fine, whatever. But are you ever going to attain that same relationship you had before? I don't think so. You can forgive, I
You can
think, but you
forget.
may not be so easy to forget.
You will be cautious next time.
Yeah, fool me
Yeah.
once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. That's not right. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah, sure. It's like a yeah, nice. Okay. This is a funny question. Let's like make your imagination work. If you can choose who can control Earth after the humans vanish, what
Who's
what it
controlling
would be?
Earth after the humans vanish?
Yeah, any species on Earth.
Cockroaches.
Well, why could cry?
They
But
because they're going to survive everything.
mhm. But
Yeah,
you will
they're going to
control
survive.
every other species, like as you know. Wow, cockroach.
Well,
Interesting.
you can freeze a cockroach in a, they found cockroaches in glacier ice and it's melted and they come back alive. So yeah, no, cockroaches are going to earn only Earth one day, I'm sure.
Wow, it's a statement. What do you think about it? Hate the action, not the person. What do you think about that?
Again, I think it's perspective. I think I need to know what why the person did what they did. You can hate the action, but and sometimes you cannot hate the person, but if you know the person did it intentionally and you understand the whys, maybe you do. Or you understand the whys and maybe you don't.
So, give me a quote you really like today.
Wise men learn from others' mistakes, fools on their own.
Nice. Okay. Do you have any questions?
I think I've asked all the questions I am allowed to ask.
You can ask more. It's okay.
No, I respect the fact that you like your private life, and I'm going to leave it at such.
Okay, thank you. I think we are coming to an end. Thank you all for beautiful listening to us. And last question. Give me a question for the next.
So, my question for the next person is, what was the greatest mistake you've made so far in your life, and what have you learned from it?
Nice question. Really good one. Wow.
Thank you, Jax, for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I will say it as I always say. Like an iceberg, we only take a glimpse of a pal's personality until she shares more of her thoughts with us. Thank you, pal. Thank you, everyone. I hope the best for everyone. Thank you. Have a good day, pal.
You too, as well. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.